Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, today I'm going to be creating a card with the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month Club Kit. This is called the Hello and Thank You die set. It is, again, the September 2020 Small Die of the Month Club Kit. Now this card today features this set. It's kind of a bonus card because I've already made a card with it. I'll link it at the end, but this is part of a blog hop. So if you guys are interested in any of the club kits or inspiration with any of the club kits, head on over to my blog or the Spellbinders blog. There's tons of inspiration and there's also a giveaway. So I encourage you guys to check that out. We're going to start off by die cutting out this beautiful floral frame. It's half of a frame. You want to die cut out two. Once two are die cut out, you can layer them together to create a diamond shaped floral frame, and it is super pretty. In this month's set, there's also another frame that has leaves around it. The same diamond shape, just has leaves, so super pretty. I'm gluing the ends and just lightly tacking. This is a very delicate frame, so I think it makes a very elegant card. I die cut it out with white cardstock, and I immediately thought, wow, this would make a beautiful winter card with red and green. Okay, so my frame is ready to go. Now I like to mention, and so the way I'm going to do that is we are going to trace around the inside of the frame with a pencil on some white cardstock, and then I'm going to cut it out. Now when I cut it out, I'm going to cut it out probably about 1/8 of an inch larger than my pencil mark. So we're going to go just about 1/8 of an inch outside the edge. I'm just using my scissors and going corner to corner. And this didn't line up exactly perfect, but that's okay. It's an easy fix, and I'll show you how to do that. Once my cardstock's trimmed, we are going to flip over our frame here, and I'm going to add a very thin bead of glue along the diamond shape. We're going to erase our pencil marks first. We don't want those showing. For the most part, I'm leaving that really delicate diamond shape piece white. So I want to make sure that the pencil mark on my background was erased. I add a real thin bead of glue, and then we're going to place this on top of our diamond. And it is a little bit, my diamond background piece is a little bit larger than my frame. So basically I'm going to take my scissors and trim off the excess. It was super easy to do because the foliage that's overhanging was easy just to fold over like this and then trim off. And I just basically needed to do two sides. So I'm going to trim this. You want to be real careful. You don't want to trim off any of your leaves. I'll reflatten those, and I'm going to do this edge too. We're just going to push in that foliage and then trim off just to the glue line there. Okay, so there we created a nice background piece. Now I can pop it up, and that's what my intention was here. Okay, so that's my frame. We're going to set this aside to dry, and in the meantime we need our sentiment. Today's card we're going to use the thank you. So I'm going to do some ink blending. I'm actually using the same colors that I used for my first card. This is Dusty Concord. I'm adding a little blotch on the very bottom because we're going to be die cutting out some flowers with this also. I'm going to ink blend my worn lipstick with my Dusty Concord, just blending them both together. Since I am die cutting this out, I don't think my blend has to be exactly perfect. I don't think you'll be able to tell after I die cut out my letters. This color is Wild Honey, and I'm going to add a little bit of worn lipstick right below the Wild Honey, since we're going to die cut out the word thank and then the letters U, Y-O-U. Add a little bit of our Wild Honey here on the bottom, just making sure a little bit of it overlaps. Okay, now we're going to take our thank. This is a very nice block letter or lowercase thanks or thank. It's no S on there, just thank. But I really like the shape of this. And then I'm going to grab the Y, the O, and the U. The letters in this month's kit also spell out the word hello, which is really nice. And actually, if you wanted to make a Christmas card, like I said earlier, you could actually spell out the words ho, 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 if you wanted to, because there's an H and an O. So there's my U. My U, I wanted the yellow and the pink. Didn't want any purple in that. and I'm going to die cut out some flowers. Now this flowers different shapes in here, which make it so nice, and then there's 2 of each of the shapes. So when you want to die cut out lots of them, it's nice to have these flowers doubled up. I'm also going to take the flower that I had used in my first project and die cut that out with white cardstock. We're going to leave that white. But basically we're going to use all the flowers except for the oval ones. Once everything is die cut, we're going to layer our sentiment together. So I also die cut out white cardstock with the letters Y-O-U and then the thank. We're going to layer them together, create kind of like a chipboard. This is going to give my sentiment a little bit of dimension, and I like that. After my 2 white pieces are adhered, I'm going to add 1 more layer of glue and then add my thank on top of there and continue on with the Y and the O and the U. So my letters are here, ready to go. And then we are going to do some coloring. Now, you could use your oxide inks and color in the edges of your foliage if you wanted to, but I thought I'd add a little bit of extra shading with my Copic markers. Now I didn't leave the coloring in, but I'm using 3 colors of Copic markers. I listed here on the left, and I'm going to start out with the darkest color and just add a little bit of detail to them, and then I'm going to add my mid-tone and then blend it all together with my lightest, and you can see the colors there. Once my foliage is all nice and prettied up, I didn't go all the way to the frame. I left my frame on this white, but I think that looks so pretty. Okay, we're going to take our glue and go ahead and adhere our thank you. It'll fit perfectly right in the center of your diamond here. We'll just add some thin little dots here. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want it oozing on my background. I have a bad habit of doing that. So there's my thank. I want to make sure it's centered. So I'll add this on the inside, and it's going to give a nice dimension to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my U. Okay, once my sentiment's adhered, we're going to set this aside, and we are going to we're not going to set it aside. We're going to add our flowers. Now this was the easiest way for me to add the flowers, and it was super duper easy. I added a dot of glue to the flower base, and then I actually picked up my frame and then I tapped it onto the flower. It made it so easy to attach these flowers. I'm going to add a dot of glue to the base of my flower and then add it. There is a little triangle piece on your little flower stems that fit perfectly the large triangle kind of shaped flower, and then there's some smaller triangle shaped flowers that fit it perfectly also. You can actually layer the smaller ones together, actually all of them if you wanted to, but I'm going to just make one layer here, kind of alternating the pinks with the orangey colors and the purples. I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to add a little dot of glue, and then we'll just tap our floral frame on top of our flower, and I'm using the other end of my jewel pick just to secure it so I don't get glue on my fingers, but made it super easy. Here I am taking the smaller flowers and I'm adding them to them. You can see how they could layer together beautifully. There's even some itty bitty ones, and I'm going to use those on the leaves that are kind of V-shaped. I added those little itty bitty flowers. You couldn't see much of it, but I think it filled the frame in beautifully. Okay, once this is all done, I have a few little flowers left over. We're going to just put those back in the bowl and clean up our little area. You can see I left my white flowers. We're going to use those as accent pieces. Okay, we're going to flip this over. I'm going to add some foam adhesive behind here, and our thank you floral edged piece is so pretty, and it's ready to go. Now for my card base, I'm going to bring in a oatmeal cookie cardstock. The oatmeal cookie cardstock is from Finstepper's Journey. I'm just going to create my card base. Now the oatmeal cookie cardstock is lighter weight. It's about an 80-pound cardstock. which will work great for card bases. I've made it with card bases before, but we're going to strengthen it a little bit, and so I thought we would bring in the Essential Rectangle die set. I'm taking the largest detail piece, we're centering it on the front of our card base, and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine so that I have pierced detail all along the edge of the front of my card base. Now I wanted white behind that dotted detail, so I'm taking a slightly smaller piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to use my glue, and we're going to adhere it to the inside of the card. This is going to give the card a little bit more weight, and it's going to give my background some white detail. Just making sure it's centered when you open it up. It'll be the top piece when you open it up. So if you want to put a message on there too, you could. Okay, we're going to remove the release paper off of our frame. And then this is going to go right in the center. I think these colors go really well with a craft cardstock. Just making sure it's centered. Now we're going to take our glue and we're going to add little dots to the top left corner. This is where our little white flowers will come in. I want to bring out some of that white from the center of our sentiment. Right above the thank you, I had I dotted it with one of my green Copic markers, so I'm gonna cover up that dot with one of my white flowers. It's gonna be, that's why I put a white on white. In case you're probably wondering why is she putting white on white, but that's why I did that, because I had a blemish on top of my panel there, so I'm kind of doing a cover up. But I decided to go in with some of the leaves that were in the die set this month, so I die cut out quite a few leaves and added them to the white flowers. And I think that looks so pretty. To finish it off, I'm using my Perfect Pearls. This is, I think it's liquid gold. I'm just adding dots of gold to the center of the white flowers only. And then that finishes off my card today, guys. Little bonus card using the Small Die of the Month Club kit from Spellbinders. If you're interested in this kit, links are down below, along with the Spellbinders blog and my blog, because lots going on and lots of inspiration with all of the club kits for September. So join us for some fun. Have a great day. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.